first light of dawn touched the water. As he stood alone on the deck, watching his small seaside house fade into the distance. The gentle creak of the ship and the tug of the wind in the sails were the only sounds breaking the early morning silence. His home, with all its comforts and memories, grew smaller and smaller, soon to be just a dot on the horizon. He knew there was no turning back now. Only the unknown ahead.
I've come to a realization recently that I often find myself rushing things. It's so easy to become fixated on the end goal. The perfect image you have in your mind of the moment when everything is just perfect and fine, and then you just can't seem to get it right. It's like trying to draw or paint the perfect dream that you had, and then realize that you only remember the general feel of it, and not the little details. So I just decided one day that I wanted to try out something I haven't done for a really long time. Or when I think of it now, I'm not even sure I've actually tried this at all. Not in any meaningful way, at least. Thing is, how often do you really think about how the buildings around you actually were built? Why did they choose this and that material? Why are there no windows on this side of the house? And why is the fireplace always placed like this in the houses I see? There is usually a very good reason for it, if you only try and look into it. You see this house that I'm building right here? I figured that if I just build the frame of it first, I get to spend more time planning out where I want windows, stairwells, and fireplaces to be. Not by trying to do an educated guess on where I think it would be cool, but to actually experience the location a bit first. The place I decided to build is in a biome that I think is somewhat reminiscent of the landscape found high up in the hills near the mountains and fjords. In fact, I actually think that this biome is called something like that. Highland Fields is what it's called actually, which is why I wanted to go for the very steep roof on this building. The stairs leading up to the upper floor is always a tricky one to figure out, I think. With such a small build, it's so easy to waste a lot of space and make it look out of place. But if done right, it just magically creates the spaces for the other rooms in the house and make it all look so natural and nice. A house like this would most certainly not be able to carry its own weight, nor the snow on the roof, if it didn't have any supporting structure within itself. If there is a feature of a building I think always makes such a positive and great impact on the visual style of its interior, I think it would have to be the supporting pillars like these. And it becomes even more apparent when the planks for the upper floor is added to the build. The upper floor has this great triangular shape in the ends leading towards east and west. This just begs for a big panoramic window to be placed in that space, giving the room plenty of bright yellow light from the sunset or sunrise to bathe in. You remember that I mentioned earlier that it's important to truly experience the place before building too much? Well, this is the reason why. As you see, the main living room is now filled with bright yellow light from the sunrise that give the whole space a dynamic feel to it. The spaces on the ground floor is starting to take more shape now. A few more walls and windows placed here and there first, and then it's time to move on to the details. But I think that this would have to wait until next time.